Secure 2.0 has given us a new 529 to Roth IRA rollover. How should we be thinking about it? Hi, this is financial planner Sean Mullaney. Let's discuss. So there's a problem in the world of overfunded 529s. We just don't know how much college is going to cost. And sometimes maybe the child got a partial scholarship, or they only went 3 years instead of 4. Or they went to state school and the 529 was set up more for private school. And so there can be sort of amounts stranded in a 529, and then there can be, income tax and penalties on the growth in that money if we take it out for a non-qualified expense. So Congress in Secure 2.0 added this new thing where, hey, you could take up to $35,000 of an old 529, roll it into the beneficiary's Roth IRA. There are a lot of restrictions, though, on this new rule, right? One, the 529 needs to be 15 years old. Two, the money rolled into the Roth IRA has to be attributable to contributions that themselves are at least 5 years old. And three, it's got two limits. One, it's only $35,000 per lifetime. And two, it's subject to the annual Roth IRA limits. And let's remember, this isn't creating new Roth IRA runway, because if you do this rollover for a year, say 6,500, and that's the maximum allowed, that's it. There's no separate contribution. So this doesn't actually create any new Roth IRA contribution runway for mom and dad and their young adult child, right? All right, so how should we be thinking about this? And I think how you think about it really informs whether it's a good thing or not, right? If you think about it as a bailout provision, it's really good, right? If we've got a 529, particularly if it's already overfunded, we want as many tools in our toolbox to efficiently bail the money out of the 529. And so this is only good news. You got a junior in college and you just overestimated what you needed from the 529. It looks like there's going to be some money stranded in there. It's great to have this bailout tool. Or maybe, your daughter graduated from college 2 years ago and there's still $15,000 lurking in that 529, right? Great. We got a new tool in the toolbox. Now, I will say this, though. As a bailout tool, I think it's not quite as good as my preferred bailout tool in many circumstances, which would be this. It would be finding a successor beneficiary, right? So maybe daughter's a junior in college, the 529's overfunded. Maybe you got a son in high school who's like a sophomore in high school. Maybe you change the beneficiary on the 529 to the son. Why do I prefer that to this 529 to Roth thing? Well, changing the beneficiary is a lot simpler. There's no 15-year rule to navigate, no 5-year rule to navigate, no lifetime limit, no annual limit, right? It doesn't matter what the amount is. If you've got a younger son or daughter in the picture, you've got a grandchild in the picture, whoever it might be in terms of his successor beneficiary, I prefer using that person to bail out the 529 than to using this 529 to Roth. But maybe it's the youngest child. Maybe it's an only child, right? It's always good to have these bailout tools in our toolbox. And so great, right? Thank you, Congress, for this, particularly if we've got a overfunded 529. Here's how I don't think we should be approaching this new 529 to Roth. We should not be approaching it as an affirmative planning tool for a number of reasons. One, like I said in my previous video, I'm not that fond of the 529 as a planning tool anyway. I think for most Americans, at most, it should be a modest planning tool. So we shouldn't be looking to overfund 529s if in many cases we shouldn't even be looking to fund them in the first place. I talked about that in my old video. But second, this really is a limited bailout provision. Congress has put a lot of bells and whistles on this. And so if we're in our 30s and we're thinking, oh, maybe I could set up Roth contributions for 15 years from now when I'm in my 50s, I don't think that's going to work. I think the IRS and Treasury are going to come out with some very explicit rules about that. I talk about that in my blog post, which I'll link to below. So I don't view this new rule as a great planning opportunity. But I do think if we've got a overfunded 529, this is a great bailout technique. If we sort of make sure our focus is, all right, this is another bailout technique for overfunded 529s, I think we'll be very happy with this and we'll understand its parameters and its value. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Hope you liked this video. If you did, please mash that like button and subscribe to my channel. I'll see you next time.